Walk with me through ancient Kemetic spirituality, through the Greek pantheon and into the Roman Empire, all the way through to modern day civilization and religions. But one truth remains that we will find as we take this journey, eternally echoing through the chambers of humanity. Journey with me through Scripture. Hey, hello. Let me change my camera. I got a little, I'm gonna have to edit that a little bit. Y'all, I know y'all did not think that we were gonna start on time. Like we still, let me tell you something, we still about that, you know what kind of church life, okay? So don't welcome. So I'm gonna need y'all to go on and get your seats, get it together, go on, get where you gotta get going where you gotta get going. Hang on one quick second. I'm gonna fix the camera situation here. One moment. Let me make sure that this is all taken. Okay, you know what? The devil gonna stop playing with me. The devil is gonna stop playing with me. Okay, we just gonna go with this right now, y'all. Come on in the room. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How is everyone? I want to welcome everyone to the very first. And next time we'll try to be on time. But y'all know, I mean, how many of y'all churches really honestly started on time? Can I ask y'all? Because didn't hardly none of mine that I went to. Oh, as you can see, well, really, what I would say on time, and I'm gonna bring up something on my phone. Like the pastors be doing these days. The pastors, and the pastors of it all. The pastors of it all. We're gonna bring this up on the phone so I can read it a little bit clearer. How are you guys doing? Hello, AT2. Welcome. Did you get a chance to go over there and catch the members only live on the Gospel of Thomas? The first episode or the first part of the deep dive is up for my members. Okay. So go on over there and check it. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Hello. I cannot wait to do this with y'all. Hello, NPE. Hello. And yes, I am back. Okay, this is what we're going to do today. People have asked me, would you think about doing some sort of a Sunday morning service kind of thing? And happy Sunday, Jays. And I said, you know what, that would be kind of nice because lately it's been feeling like that. Okay, it's been feeling like I want to bring this to you all in a different way, right? And I do that anyway, right? I talk about scripture. I cannot deny that I'm still an ordained minister. And so I do appreciate and encourage and I welcome all of my past upbringing. So what we're going to do on Sundays at about this time every Sunday, I'm going to commit to that. Y'all know I really don't do commitments, very well. That's why I'm not married. But honey, I'm not married for a number of reasons. That may be one of them. But I am going to commit to coming to you, okay, on a regular basis with a word, on every Sunday with a word. Okay. And that's what we are going to do. And Anna is the reason that we're all here, that I'm doing this on Sunday. So happy Sunday to you, Anna as well. And hello and happy Sunday, sassy lady. Okay, now some of y'all may be familiar with some of the things like we say the charts announcements. So I am going to bring to you an announcement or two, and then we're going to get started. Okay. What I literally have just done, right, which is why I was late, right before we got on the horn here, is I created, and I'm going to drop the link in a little bit, but and I might pin it. But I created we're going to be doing a Reiki level 1 attunement. Now, some of you all that have already been or are currently in Lightworker Academy, contact me separately if you wish to go through attunement again. However, it's going to be on Zoom this coming Saturday and Sunday from noon to 3 p.m. Eastern, which means next week's Sunday service is going to be a little bit later in the day. Okay, or I might pre-record it and I'll drop it for y'all to have. But Saturday and Sunday, this coming Saturday and Sunday, $111 if you want to have a PDF manual um only, and then $177 if you would like an 88-page printed manual along with sent to you along with the PDF manual that you're going to receive. You're going to go to and I'm going to put this in the chat. You're going to so Reiki level 1 attunement, um Reiki level, I did not spell that right. IKI level 1 attunement. And here's the registration here. It is HTTPS. And I really, by the way, if there is anyone in the audience that'd be willing to volunteer from this point forward in helping me produce these broadcasts, from their home, you would just get a sign in. So if there's anyone that would be willing to help me to help me to broadcast, to help me to produce these broadcasts, contact me, please DM me on Instagram or reach out to me, admin@heartofinspiration.net, or reach out to me and let's talk. Okay. And it's so the I have gone on and put let me pin this comment. Pin message. I'm going to pin it to the top. It's level 1, LVL1 dot limitlesslightworker dot net. I think. Nope, it is not that. It is HTTPS LVL1 dot lightworkeracademy.net. Oh my gosh, Reiki. Level 1 attunement. All right. I'll fix the graphic, guys. So ignore the graphic. We'll fix the graphic before we get done here today. All right, I promise you that. And then let me go back over here and just pin that comment. I can't with myself. Replaced pin message. Okay, go there. Again, it's 111 if you would like to get attuned and be a Reiki practitioner when we're done, and you can go on and practice Reiki. Or a 100 for 111, you get the PDF manual. For 177, you get the PDF and the printed manual. It is an 88-page manual. So there you have it. Okay, guys, that is the little bits of the announcements. I don't know why this one won't work. Jace, thank you so much. I'll reach out to you, honey. All right. And hey, Great Pill, salute to you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And Jace, I am going to also make you I'm going to make you a moderator as well so that you can have that as well. Okay. All right, guys, are we ready? Are we ready to have a discussion today? Okay. I'm going to ask y'all to go to, we're going to go and be discussing today Romans, the 8th chapter, and the 28th verse. I'm going to get there in my NIV Bible and my NIV printout. And just bear with me for 1 second. Actually, we're going to start before then. Let me go on here and I'm going to, before we begin, I just want everyone, I want you to tune in. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to go and be ready to receive. Because everything that I'm going to say from this point forward, everything that I'm going to say from this point forward, some of it may challenge what you thought before. Some of it may provoke new thoughts. Some of it, your whole being may say, she's a heretic and she's full of crap. But hopefully, by the end of it, what happens is we are able to open up not just our physical eyes, but our metaphysical eyes, not just our physical heart, but our metaphysical heart, and not just our mind, but our metaphysical mind, our spiritual mind, so that we can receive a new word, not an old stale word, but a new word to live this new existence that ain't your mama's. Okay? And listen, for some of us mamas and grandmamas, it ain't even what we knew. Okay? So we're going to do something a little bit new today, if that's all right with y'all. Okay, so let me share this screen with you guys. And I'm going to read out the NIV first, and then we're going to read out a couple of various different interpretations of the same verses. We're going to go to Romans chapter 8. You guys should be able to read that on the screen, hopefully. And we're going to start at the 18th verse. This section is called Present Suffering and Future Glory. And the 18th verse reads, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. For the creation awaits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. For the creation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. Verse 22 says, we know that the whole creation has been groaning, as in the pains of childbirth, right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved, but hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what they already have? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. And the 26th verse begins, in the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. And He who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. And the 28th verse begins, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. For those God foreknew, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And the 30th verse concludes, and those He predestined, He also called. And those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified. And I'm going to ask you today, are you ready to reveal yourself as the son or the daughter? Are you ready to be revealed as the son or the daughter of God? I'm going to focus at first at the beginning here. The 18th verse states that I consider, this is in the New International Version. We're going to look at a couple of the versions as well, but this is a good start. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that we will be revealed in us. Now, if you all happen to look at, if you happen to be members, if you're not yet members, if one of my moderators could drop the membership link, it is in the chat, is in the description in the chat. We have begun to look at the Gospel of Thomas. And what I find interesting in the Gospel of Thomas is one of the Gnostic books of the Bible. That one of the ones that was not canonized, and that one of the ones that the Romans decided, oh, we're not going to put this in here. And one of the ones that then King James said, oh, definitely not. We're not putting none of that in there. If you go to the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, you're going to find that a lot of the sayings, it's not verses, a lot of the sayings of Yeshua, I'm not going to call Yeshua Jesus because that's not the name. So just like you don't want to be called by another name. I'm not going to call Yeshua by another name, because in the name of Yeshua, and there is a power then in that name. And then there's a revelation of a consciousness and an energy in Yeshua, and also in the term Christos, where we get Jesus Christ. And this is just a freebie. This ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about today. This is a freebie. Okay. That the term Jesus actually came from Hail Zeus. There was no J in anybody's alphabet for centuries upon centuries upon centuries. So, Hail Zeus, Christos, which means oil, anointing, it represents an energy, it represents a consciousness in the Greek. But the original name is Yeshua. So when Yeshua then was speaking to the disciples, of which, the Apostle Paul wrote these Pauline epistles. This one is the epistle to the Roman church, the original organized church. Let me put it like that. Paul didn't walk with Jesus. In fact, Paul was one of the main ones that was persecuting the church. So what I find interesting in the Gospel of Thomas is Paul must have had reference to the writings of the other eight disciples, other than Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because there's certain things in these epistles that if you grab a hold of it, you're like, that sounds a lot like what's in the book of this and this gospel and that gospel. And it has much more energetic, metaphysical, consciousness, fifth dimensional power to it. Okay. Now I consider that this is the 18th verse, Romans chapter 8. This is the NIV. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Why am I bringing all of this up? Because it is very interesting that one of the first sayings in the Gospel of Thomas alludes to the fact that everything that is hidden shall be revealed. And there is nothing that is hidden that will not be revealed. And that once you begin to know who you are, right? This is within the first 8 sayings, the first 8 verses. Once you know who you are, then and only then can you command the all. then and only then do you then become a divine being. So here Paul is kind of encouraging. Now you'll find that certain things are written in the Bible in order to, there is power, but most of the things are written here for you and I to then say in the sweet by and by, we don't have access to this right now. So you just sit on down somewhere and go on and suffer long suffering and broke, busted, and disgusted. Go ahead on. You can never get to attain these levels. A lot of the terminology here is meant to keep you oppressed. That doesn't mean there's not truth in it, but it's keeping you oppressed. My job today is to help make sure that doesn't continue to happen. So if one considers that your present suffering is not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed, that must mean that there's glory then to be revealed within you, isn't it? Not just a bunch of coming hat in hand, please, 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 please. That there's glory to be revealed for the creation. Well, what's the creation? That it would be the earth. The creation, that would be the earth. That would be the matrix. That would be the simulation. That would be the creation that we live in. That would be the creation that we live in. Can somebody say we live in a simulation? Can somebody type simulation in the chat? Simulation in the chat. If we were together, I'd say touch your neighbor and say simulation. Because that's what you're living in. You're living in a simulation. You're living in a created, temporal, changeable, interchangeable world. So tap your neighbor, type on your keyboard simulation. For the creation waits in eager expectation, for the simulation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. Now, what are they waiting on? What are we waiting on to be revealed? Hang on one second. We're going to get there. For the creation or for the simulation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it. Now, I'm not going to dive too deep into this one. But I want you to take this whole thing in context for one quick second. For the simulation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who's rejected it, in hope that. So, whomever, I want you to think about this just for a second. And I'm not trying to mess y'all up this afternoon for some of y'all. I'm really not trying to mess y'all up. I really am not. I swear to you, I am not. I'm trying to be good. But by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself would be liberated from its bondage to decay. So the simulation itself has been subjected to a bondage of decay. Do y'all realize that your body, your human body, regenerates itself, every cell in its being, physical cell, every about 7 years? Approximately every 7 years, every cell in your body regenerates itself. There is technically no reason for you to die. There is technically no reason for you to taste death. Your body is designed to be eternal. Your human fleshly body is a magnificent creation. It is designed to live forever, and no one can quite figure out why we decay. Now, it has been said by some metaphysical theorists that as one steps into this becoming of a child of God, of source, of spirit, Once you begin to know thyself and know, right, this process of gnosis, that you literally, your DNA literally begins to change. You become a light being, you become crystalline. Have you noticed, those of you who have begun to step out of a traditional concept of spirituality, and maybe even some of you that are in different religions, have you noticed the freer you get, the lighter you feel? Have you noticed the freer you get, the less oppressed by bondage, the less you have shadow garbage to deal with, the less that you are consistently and continually living around and subjecting yourself to negative energy and influences, that you are freer, that you are lighter, that it seems as if you have more life and more vitality. And that is because the very DNA that makes up every bit of your being is soaking up this energy. It's like, oh, wait, this is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting to be transformed and transmuted. I've been waiting for this light to enter in. I have been waiting for these unlocked bits of what they want to call junk DNA that really is your God DNA. It's your divine DNA. It's your God and your goddess DNA. It is that which has been shut down and subjected to bondage so that your body would decay. Those of us that have been going through this evolutionary period, that have been going through this ascension period, that have been going through this awakening period in our lives, the more energetic trauma we shed, let me tell you something, the better I physically feel. Now, every once in a while, I get one of them little aches and pains. I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm gonna get a couple aches and pains. It's cool. It's what happens. However, I don't adhere to the belief that I must age the way the world says I must age. Now, I say that to say this: the creation was subjected to frustration. I want you to see this. The creation was subjected to frustration by not by its own choice. You did not choose to be frustrated. The simulation, the world as it was created, was not meant to decay. But by the will of the one who's rejected it, in hope that the creator, so whoever subjected, I'm going to leave you with this and we're going to move on. Whomever subjected the earth to decay had the hope that creation itself would be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. So I'm going to propose to you, I'm going to stress the whoever did it said, I'm hoping that they figure it out. I'm going to leave that there. But what I want you to see is you and I, as the children of God, as the children of God, have the ability to free the earth. So when those of us who say they want to say we're new age, right? And so that's fine, but Christianity is a heck of a lot newer than any Kemetic and indigenous people's belief. But those of us that they label new age, and we say we're waiting for this new heaven and we're waiting for this new earth. We're not saying we're waiting for a new heaven. We're saying that we're in the process of the evolution and towards a new heaven. This actually verifies what we're saying. Because this is not a everybody's gonna get swept off the face of the earth and that believe in Jesus. Now that I did use Jesus, and then uh everybody come back and whatever. No, you're not getting nobody. No, 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 no. You do not have the first plane train ticket out of here because it's gonna get a little uncomfortable for you. No, the earth is waiting for you, honey. The earth is waiting for you to step into your glory so that the earth can experience the same freedom that you should be experiencing right now. The same freedom that I experience every day of my life, because I'm not conformed and constrained to what the hell is going on outside my house. Can you type in the chat freedom? Can everybody type in the chat freedom? Freedom, 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 freedom. You should be walking in freedom. So when I ask you, are you ready to be revealed as the son and the daughter of God? I'm really asking you, are you ready to walk in freedom? Are you ready to walk in your glory? Are you ready to walk in your power? Are you ready to take your power back and utilize it to not only liberate yourself and your neighbor, but the rest of the earth during this age of Aquarius? This is the energetic time period we're in. This is the true essence of Christ consciousness. Now we're gonna move on to the 22nd verse. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long here. We're not gonna be long today. We're not gonna be long today. We know that the whole creation, so the whole simulation, has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. This was written 2 millennia ago. So it takes a minute. Not only so, but we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit grown inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies. Now I'm gonna tell you, this is the section I'm gonna call it out a little bit. Verse 24: for in this hope we are saved, but hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what they already have? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. Let me tell you something. That whole little bit, that doesn't even go along with what if you were with me a couple days ago when we were talking about Habakkuk 2 and 2, where what you are manifesting hastens unto you. So while there is this groan of as in the pains of childbirth, and let me tell you something, that ain't fun, and that ain't fun, that ain't cute, that ain't fun, that ain't none of that. Not only so, but we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit. There's a lot of us who have walked into this, and some of our forefathers and foremothers that have been like, oh my God, how long is it going to take? Let me tell you something. I'm not eagerly awaiting my adoption into sonship or daughtership, because I believe that the body can be redeemed or changed when you change your lifestyle, when you change your energetic footprint, when you change your energetic set point, when you start not only just taking in light, but emanating light, when you start working with light, when you become a light worker, when you step into your power and into your glory, you're not waiting for anything anymore. Because now what it is now now you're learning how really to operate. You thought you knew how to operate in this world. Wait till you step into that power and into that glory. Yes? In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. You know what? I'm ditching all that. Because you and I are not weak. I know, I know, I know. This sounds real bad for a minister to say this. When you don't know what to pray for, And it says, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. Let me tell you something. Your higher self should always be in communion and conversation with Source. Why? Because your higher self is always connected to Source. Why? Because your higher self is a spirit and lives in the ethers, and that's where Source is. The only thing that has ever separated you from Source, you from Creator, you from God, is a third dimensional mind, a third dimensional body, and a third dimensional concept that somehow you, by just simply being born, did something that separated you from God and it was wrong. No, no. You being born set you on a pathway through human existence. So your knowledge of, recollection of, and interaction with that which you already are was temporarily severed or temporarily blocked because there were certain things through a human existence that you were meant to, that you decided to go through. That doesn't mean that that was wrong. All that means is that that you were set on a path for rediscovering who you really are. Now that's going to flip a lot of wigs, and some people are going to be like, "Oh, she's a damn heretic, and she's crazy over there." But I want you to think about this for just one quick second. Just give me a moment of your time. If you're a parent, and all of us were once children, so maybe we'll go back here. As a child, how did it feel to you when your mama or your daddy said, I know you did that. I know you went and ate them cookies out that cookie jar. I know you went and took 3 pieces of candy out my candy jar. I know that you did this and you didn't do it. You had nothing to do with it. How did that make you feel? You were pretty upset. You were pretty disappointed. You were pretty like, you were extolling your virtue. You were extolling your innocence. You were extolling all of that from the high heavens, I'm sure. I'm sure you were singing that tune. And it probably made you feel pretty crappy. It probably made you be like, why don't they believe me? I didn't do what I'm being accused of doing. And then if you got punished for doing something that you didn't even do, just because you were in the vicinity of said infraction that was committed, is that fair? So somebody robs the convenience store and I'm in the parking lot. I'm standing by the door, but I'm in the parking lot. I'm not inside the store. Should I get punished for what that person did in committing the crime? My point to you is this. Why have we allowed ourselves to be taught that simply by being born, we are automatically set on a path where we did something wrong just by being born that we need to atone for and we need to repent? I'm going to sit that with y'all for a second. I'm going to let that sit and simmer for a second. Now, so this is why this whole bit, done. Now, I will say that sometimes when I don't know how to pray or how to speak to the universe, I don't need to use words. And sometimes, yes, is it, am I rocking back and forth and am I doing you know, yeah, 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 yeah. However, all I'm going to say to you is this: don't let anybody tell you you don't know how to pray. Don't let anybody tell you you ain't good enough. Don't let anybody, don't let nobody tell you that. Now we're going to get back to the good stuff. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Now, this is the real good stuff right here. This is where I'm wanting you to understand here too. For those God foreknew, he also predestined. In the book Joshua? No. Oh my God. Jeremiah. In the book of Jeremiah, does it not say in the book of Jeremiah that we're going to find that verse? I'm going to show y'all because I don't want y'all taking my word for it. See, I could prove everything back to the word. The word actually has all the truth in there. The Bible does have all the truth in there. In the book of Jeremiah, it said that he knew him. He knew you. He knew me before we were ever formed in our mother's womb. Now, do you believe that you are one of the people? You are one of the human beings that was foreknown? For those God foreknew, he also predestined. Predestined. Not after destined. Not only if you decide to come to the altar and drop down on your knees. Not only then. Come on now. Here we go. Here we go. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jace. Thank you, Jace. In Jeremiah 1:5, God says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you and I ordained you a prophet to the nations. Now, all of y'all might not be a prophet to the nations. I'm not trying to, I'm not putting that on y'all. But the concepts are what we have to grab a hold to. And the concept is this: for those who God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his son. I'm down here and right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Now, the image of his son, that would be Yeshua. But we also already know that all of us, humanity, all of us were what? Made in what? Their image and their likeness. Mother, Father, God. Their image and their likeness. So we're already sons and daughters. To be conformed to the image of his son. So the image now, not just the likeness, but the image. That he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. Fine, I'm going to give it to you. And those he predestined. So we've already said that he foreknew you. So if you believe that he knew you, that you were one with God, one with source, one with creator, before you were born, just type in one in the chat. O-N-E, type in one. O-N-E, type in one. If we was together, I'd say, tap your neighbor, not slap your neighbor. Tap your neighbor on the shoulder and say, I was one with God. I was one with God. You can put that in there. I was one with God. I was one with God. Because I know I was one with God. So I believe you was one with God. I was one. Do you understand what that means? Singular one. Before you had this human experience, your entity, your energy was one. I was one with God. One with God. So that means that you were foreknown. There are people that I've known from, it seems like the beginning of time. You ever met somebody that you're like, man, we probably have known each other for many lifetimes. I feel like I already know you because you did. Foreknowing. You were foreknown. I was one with God. He also predestined. Now, those that he predestined, he also called. What does that mean? Every last person under the sound of my voice, and every last person that then watches me on the replay, and every person you share this with, every person that's going to see this from here forward, you were predestined, which then means you were called, which then means you were justified, which then means you were glorified. So when I go back to the original question to you, when we go back to the original issue that creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed in their glory in other versions. What are you waiting on to reveal your glory? Are you doubting that you have glory? Are you doubting that you are divine? Are you doubting that you were predestined? Are you doubting that you were called? Are you doubting that you've been justified? You've already been glorified. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Why are you not igniting that fire and that glory within you so that you can command the all, so that you can speak and it not return unto you void, so that you can change the world, your world that's around you, and together we all change the collective. And we liberate, we bring freedom to creation that is waiting to be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and the glory of the children of God. What are you waiting for? And I'm just going to encourage every last one of you today, every one of you today, to please consider taking a moment and releasing this thinking and this thought that you're never enough, that you're just a sinner, that you're just a this, that you're just a that. You aren't called to help humanity. You haven't been predestined. You don't possess the glory. I'm just encourage you today to take a moment and just believe for one moment. Just release all that stinking thinking. Send it right on back. Return it to sender. And allow source, allow spirit, allow the ancestors, allow the angels, allow your guides, allow all these multitude of heavenly hosts to come in and wash that from you and to show you differently. Okay? That's what I'm just going to encourage you to do. And then for you to then release it into the earth. All right, guys, listen, I have told myself that we're going to be here for about an hour, and that's going to be about it. Okay, I'm not going to hold you. I did drop my Cash App into the chat there. So if you want to support the channel, you could do that. You can drop us a little Cash App. That would be very much appreciated. It is lightworkacademy.net. Hang on one second. I'm going to show you guys this again so you guys can sign up. If you guys are wanting to become Reiki attuned, that is one way to to become, if you go on and go on and become a Reiki healer, an energy healer academy. Yeah. Um, if you go on and become an energy healer, that is one way that you can then begin to help others, right? Become a Reiki practitioner. You can utilize Reiki to then begin to help others, right? In their healing uh, journey. And that's what one of the first things that I did is became a Reiki healer. When I first started on this journey, learned to read tarot and learned to became a Reiki practitioner, actually a Reiki master teacher. And so we are doing that again this coming weekend. It is pinned up at the top. So level1.lightworkeracademy.net this coming weekend. It's a total of 6 hours to get the Reiki level 1 attunement. It's $111 if you want the PDF manual only, $177 for the printed manual and the PDF manual. That website should be functioning right now. If somebody can let me know. So you feel free to do that. And any donations that you want to send over would be much appreciated. We are going to be back. I'm going to post a little bit of an excerpt from another live that we had um, on a couple days ago about manifestation and things like that. So hopefully you all enjoyed this time that we've had to spend together. Jace, I'm going to reach out to you so you can help me out a little bit with this production. So I very much appreciate it. We're going to do this every Sunday. So next Sunday, even though I'll be doing the Reiki level 1 attunement, we will have there will be something, there will be a message here 2:30 every Sunday Eastern time. We're going to have a different message every Sunday, so I can't wait to work with each and every one of you guys. All right, I thank you guys so much. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys very, very much. Namaste. Bye.